Hello everybody, it's Kenneth, and I know it's been a little while since we posted a video, but we've just been very busy with college apps going on and everything. But today I wanted to talk about business writing, and I want to say up first that this is not my presentation. This is my teacher's. Um, so all the credit can go to him. Um, yeah. So consider this. I go over this quickly. Based on the pictures and things you post on social media sites, is there anything you'd be embarrassed by teachers, college, or grandparents, or future employers viewing? Basically, the point here is that one of the first things that companies go to, like after your resume like looks good or whatever, is your social media. Is your social media clean? Is there things on it that like are bad? And um, if there's those things, then you probably want to take them down, right? You wouldn't want, like, think of it like you wouldn't want a professional to see those things, right? So why are they there? Where a professional can see them. So business writing is professional communication, communication with audiences, and mainly persuasion, right? Because you are trying to convince an employer to pay you. Now, um, there's a lot of types of business writing, but the main ones I'm going to go over are the ones here. The email, cover letters, and resumes, because those are arguably the most important before you get a job, of course. So business is to the point and follow certain rules. Grammar is very important in business, and the focus is on you. Now, in other types of writing, these things aren't necessarily true, although many times they can be. So, an email, we all know what an email is, right? It introduces you. Why are you contacting them? You got to show, so basically all these things, okay? You have to show your credibility, you have to be professional to a point. Now, an effective business email does all these things, right? If they say, "I hope this email finds you well, what if it doesn't? Like, um, yeah, I mean, there's like things you just shouldn't say. Like, I know one example was like, please take the time to read this or something like that. And well, what if they don't want to? Or a better example is to whom it may concern. Well, what if it doesn't concern them? Then they just throw it away. So use proper grammar, professional language. Address the person professionally. And then uses a colon. So unlike a normal letter, um, a business writing will use a colon. Whereas in like a friendly writer or letter, you would use a comma, which is probably what we're most familiar with. Gets to the point, ends with a closer, and the thank you should be on a separate line because in America, as my teacher says, we've lost the art of the thank you. So if you can separate the thank you and make them see it, they'll know that you're thankful, right? So, and then use a professional signature. You can use a digital one. You can write one and upload it. But it probably easiest to use a digital one, and Canva is a good tool for that. So, cover letter. Okay, the cover letter is what you send to a business when you're applying to a specific job. So, why are you applying to the job, and why are you a good choice? And you introduce yourself, your credibilities. It's got to be attention grabbing. Kind of like we said, it should brag about you. So, why should they hire you? Now, this used to be a thing, right? This is a cover letter here, and it used to be pretty because people were reading them. But nowadays, ChatGPT is reading them. AI is reading them. Businesses don't want to go through all of them, so they have AI do it. And AI can't read this picture, can't read these little icons. So it should just really be a piece of paper now that it can be easily read. It doesn't have to be pretty. Now, an effective cover letter highlights your qualifications, right? This is very important. Proves that you align with the organization. So what you can do is like look up their mission statement and maybe talk about it, and provides contact information and a plan for future contact, which is I mean, it'll also be on your resume. So tailor it to the organization. Like I said, you can look up the goals or the mission of the organization and think of how the company can benefit and you can benefit from the job. So I redacted some things here. Now you have a header, which is this stuff here. And basically your name is the first thing that I blocked out. and then your address is the second thing, although I didn't block out the city, but and then your email, well, phone number, email, date. So not that much, right? Just your contact information, who you are, and then the date, like I said, and then stuff about the business. Who are you writing? This can be a specific person. It doesn't, like, if you don't know the specific person, then you say the position, which in this case would be hiring manager, and then the business and the address, and then remember, start the dear, and then if you know the person, write dear Mr., Miss, whoever. Um, but remember to end that with a colon, go into some paragraphs, and then as you see here, here's a generally good writing style. Why are you writing, right? And the first thing is to get straight to the point. What's my name? What position am I applying for? Okay, and then more into like why are you writing, right? And then experience, paragraphs 2 and 3. You see here, if you read it, he talks about working for a technology company and what he did there, and then how he's ready to move into a new position, and like how this prepared him, sort of. Now, 4, how you'll follow up. So he says, if you'd like to discuss my application, please feel free to contact me by phone or email, right? Thank you, once again, as its own line, and then the signature. So, yeah. So, it should be single-spaced APA, Times New Roman. I know it's probably the most popular one. It just really has to be readable, right? It can't be some crazy font, size 11 or 12 standard, right? 3 to 4 paragraphs, keep margins consistent. Thank you online, colon after the start, comma after closing. Only sign your first name. And the reason that this is important is because it shows that you can be friendly and like relatable. If you sign your full name, you're like, oh, you should call me that. Like, I'm professional, I'm two above you. But if you just sign your first name, it's like, oh, okay, he's just fine with being called that. So, yeah. Resume, whole point of resume is to persuade, right? And it should be 1 page, and it's about your qualifications. So, like the cover letter, it used to be like this, right? Pretty, whatever. But like I said, ChatGPT can read this. So here is like something that's better. It's all text. There's like no pictures, and it's easily readable. It might not look as good, but it's definitely better. So, like experience, projects, if you have projects, education, but there's so many different ways you can format it, like section wise, that it's basically useless to try to say like a specific order. But basically, the top stuff up here should always be on your resume: name, phone number, email, address, and like state, city, whatever. Education should be somewhere. Doesn't matter where, and you don't have to put your GPA if it was low, right? Projects, if you don't have them, whatever. Experience, very important. This is the vital section, okay? Experience is necessary, but you might not have experience, and that's okay. So maybe try to replace it with some projects, or if you're in high school, maybe coursework that you've taken that's relevant to the jobs that you're applying for. And you can tailor your resume to whatever job you're applying to. So it doesn't have to be the same for all of them. And then skill. So these sections will pretty much be seen like all together. Skills, very important as well. It shows them that you can do what they need you to do, and you can find skills like on their website, like literally on the job offering. Sometimes they'll be like, here's what we're looking for. Like it says, necessary sections: headline, contact info, like we said. Summary, this is a very important section, but we'll get into it, I think, in the next slide. Education, as we said, where you went. You can start with high school, but after you graduate college, high school might not be as relevant. So, I mean, you can use it as a space filler if you need it. But experience, yes, experience, very important. The references is just at the end of each experience. You see how there's bullet points here? At the end of each of these, there should be another bullet point with a contact and like what's their name, what's the phone number. Skills, very important as well. So if you don't have, or if you don't fill the full space, then you could use some of these activities like honors, courses, certifications, activities, travel, talents. Yeah, so really try to focus on the top 5 activities. So, um, header could be something like this, right? But it could also be something like this. So, like, this is kind of like the cover letter, but it doesn't really matter. Um, as long as the information's there and it's at the top, it's the header. So, um, everything should be listed from most recent to oldest. So that doesn't just go for education here, but also like experiences and whatever. So like we have university here, which comes after high school. So um, you see that this is more recent than high school. So that comes first. It comes to the top on the resume. Experience, it's going to be the same thing. You see like what did you do, what dates you were there, that's important, and like what your role was. Yeah, what did you do? Contact, right? The contact's there. So summary is the opener. um so you are whatever, you're a person. Should be 3 to 4 sentences, just so you know who you are, kind of what your goal is, right? um like this guy says he wants to work in the design industry. That's the last sentence. His first things talk about who they are or kind of their skills. And then they have a skills section here just to kind of more accurately talk about those skills. So ChatGPT, as my teacher says, is a good resource for this, or Claude, any AI. And the reason is because they're showing these resumes to AI. So how well who knows AI better than AI? Nobody, right? So the AI is going to write it in the way that it thinks is good, and then well, basically when it gets put into itself again later from the hiring managing people, then it's going to say it's good. But it's not like copy and pasting exactly. You want to tweak the thing so it sounds like you. If it doesn't sound like you, then what if they hire you and they don't like you? Or what if they don't hire you because it wasn't like you? So, yeah, right. Tweak the words, tweak how whatever you see, but basically the format that it writes it for you or what it says is pretty good. So, LinkedIn, this part is just about our class, but LinkedIn's good for business professionals. You guys likely know what LinkedIn is or have seen it in some forum. And Glassdoor is a look into businesses. So basically, um, employees give feedback on the business, like the culture and salary and like other things about the business. And it's not managed by the business. It's not run by a business. It's strictly the employees. So typically it's more accurate. Now, LinkedIn is very important. You can like show your resume, your skills and stuff. Like everything that's on your resume can be shown on a LinkedIn. And um employers, just it's just like another social media site. So employers will go to it and they'll see it. They'll either be impressed or they won't. Um so that's really it. That's all I have. Hopefully this helped and have a good day, guys.